Hello everyone, I'm Mary, and welcome to Better English. We're living in a time when the world is changing incredibly fast. Technology, AI, the way people work, learn, and connect with one another, everything is constantly shifting. And this creates anxiety for many people. Not because they're incapable, but because they're unsure. Will the skills I have today still matter in the future? But here's something I truly believe applies everywhere, across cultures and countries. Technology evolves, but core human skills always remain valuable. In this podcast, I'll be sharing 5 foundational skills that help you grow sustainably in the modern world. Not just to perform better at work, but to think more clearly, stay grounded, and build stronger connections with others. These are not trend-based skills. They are skills I've observed and practiced across different professional environments, with people from many backgrounds. And on Better English, we don't just learn English as a language. We learn how native speakers think, communicate, and express ideas in real life, naturally and confidently. The first skill, and the foundation of all other skills, is the ability to make independent decisions. If you observe people who grow quickly and sustainably, you'll notice something in common. They're not always the smartest at the beginning, but they know how to make decisions and take responsibility for them. Many people delay their own growth because of a habit that seems harmless. Asking for too many opinions, yet being afraid to choose. They wait for approval, for agreement, for absolute certainty, when in reality, no decision is ever perfect from the start. Making independent decisions doesn't mean ignoring advice. It means you listen, analyze, and then take responsibility for the final choice. Here's a simple approach I often recommend. First, write the problem down. When things stay in your head, emotions tend to take over. Second, analyze the pros and cons, both the benefits and the risks. Finally, choose a direction and own the responsibility, even if the outcome isn't ideal. The more you practice making decisions, the clearer you become about who you are, what you want, and what truly fits you. That clarity is the foundation of long-term confidence and personal growth. The second skill is absolutely essential in any environment: the ability to work effectively with people. Many people believe that strong technical skills alone are enough for success. But in reality, there are plenty of capable, hardworking, and intelligent individuals who stay stuck for years. The reason is often not competence, but how they make others feel when working with them. Working well with people doesn't mean trying to please everyone. It also doesn't mean being fake or losing your personal values. Social intelligence is the ability to communicate clearly, act with tact, and respect other people's boundaries. A common misconception is that being honest is always the best approach. The truth is, honesty without tact often puts people on the defensive, makes collaboration difficult, and eventually causes others to avoid working with you. People who are strong in social intelligence usually share a few traits. They listen more than they speak, they ask questions before jumping to conclusions, and they adjust their communication style depending on the situation. In a global work environment, this skill becomes even more critical. When you recognize that people come from different cultures and ways of thinking, you naturally communicate with more openness, calmness, and effectiveness. In the end, those who go far are not always the ones who are right, but the ones others want to work with long-term. The third skill I want to talk about is the ability to adapt in a fast-changing world. We're living in a time when things can change within years, or even months. New technologies emerge constantly. AI has become part of our work, our learning, and our daily lives. This creates a lot of pressure. Many people try to resist change because they're afraid of losing what feels familiar. But the reality is simple. We can't stop change. We can only learn how to adapt to it. Adaptability doesn't mean chasing every trend. It also doesn't mean losing your identity. True adaptability is knowing the difference between tools and human judgment. AI can help you analyze data, generate ideas, and optimize tasks. But understanding context, evaluating risks, and making final decisions still belong to humans. One key principle of adaptability is having backup options. When you don't place all your trust in a single path, you become more flexible, calmer, and less reactive when change happens. People who adapt well are not the fastest to change, but those who change intentionally, thoughtfully, and with long-term goals in mind. The fourth skill is one that's often overlooked, yet it directly determines whether you can go the long distance: emotional regulation and sustainable thinking. Emotions are a natural part of being human. Everyone experiences moments of stress, frustration, anxiety, or uncertainty. The real issue is not whether you have emotions, but how much you allow those emotions to control your decisions. Many poor decisions are made not because of a lack of information, but because people act while overwhelmed, angry, or panicked. Those moments often lead to long-term consequences. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing or denying how you feel. It means recognizing your emotions, allowing them to exist, but not letting them steer you in the wrong direction. People with sustainable thinking understand that not every situation requires an immediate reaction. Sometimes, slowing down, observing, and reflecting leads to the wisest choice. When you learn to stay calm under pressure, you make better decisions, work more effectively, and maintain a healthier balance between your professional and personal life. That balance is what allows for long-term growth, not just short-term success. The fifth skill, and the one that ties all the previous skills together, is self-awareness and self-motivation. Many people feel unmotivated not because they are lazy, but because they don't clearly understand why they're doing what they're doing. When goals are vague, motivation naturally fades. Self-awareness is the ability to understand what truly matters to you, what gives you energy, and what quietly drains you over time. When you understand yourself well, you stop comparing your journey too much with others. You recognize the pace that works for you, and you accept that everyone moves differently. Self-motivation doesn't mean feeling inspired all the time. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when motivation is low. One effective way to maintain long-term motivation is to set small, realistic, repeatable daily goals. Not to create pressure, but to build a sense of steady progress. When you know yourself, trust your pace, and stay consistent with small steps, motivation no longer depends on external factors. It becomes something you build from within, stable, quiet, and lasting. So today, we've explored 5 foundational skills for sustainable growth in the modern world. Independent decision-making, working effectively with people, adapting to change, emotional regulation for the long term, and self-awareness with self-motivation. You don't need to apply all of these skills at once. Trying to change everything at the same time often leads to burnout. Instead, I encourage you to choose one skill that feels most relevant to your life right now, and start with small, manageable steps. Slow and consistent progress is what creates lasting change. If you'd like to continue developing a global mindset while improving your English in a practical way, make sure to follow Better English. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.